Time now for The Real Estate Connection with Stephen Theard, a realtor and certified probate and real estate specialist. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor looking to downsize, move up, or refinance, this program is for you.
Our house in the middle of our street.
From probate sales to landscape design to home repairs and maintenance, this is your weekly look into all things real estate. Now your host for The Real Estate Connection, Stephen Theard.
I'm back! It has been a minute since we've done an episode of The Real Estate Connection brought to you by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. Hey, I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to join me for another episode of The Real Estate Connection. I'm sorry I haven't been around in a while. It's been super duper busy. Life has been changing. As you can tell, I've gotten a little bit more gray over the last 6 months. I actually had somebody that we send these podcasts to say that they hadn't seen an episode in about 6 months. And I was like, wow, I really need to get back on the air and talk about something that's really important, hopefully, for all of you, whether you're in Northern California, or the rest of the country, wherever you may be listening. This is something that may eventually wind up affecting you. Because as California goes, so goes the rest of the nation, unfortunately. But before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. If you have any questions regarding your residential real estate needs, please give us a call at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. And if you don't want to miss a podcast that comes up in the future, I know it's been a while, but they do, when they do get recorded, they do go up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. All right, so you can just go into any one of those platforms and look me up, Stephen Theard, The Real Estate Connection, as you can see in the logo here, right? Where am I? Right there. You see the logo right there. Just look for that logo. Me in the cowboy hat says Stephen Theard, The Real Estate Connection, and you can just subscribe to the podcast, or you can send me an email at Stephen@goodpatriotrealty.com, Stephen@goodpatriotrealty.com, and I would be happy to add you to our podcast distribution list. And I am going to make a mid-year resolution to try to do these more often. But the reason for today's podcast is super duper important. And so without any further ado, we are going to get into it. We need some sort of, let's do this. It's a big podcast, so let's start off with this. Okay, the title of today's podcast, The Real Estate Connection, Special Edition, Northern California Gas, Water Heater, and Furnace Ban. You heard me correct. Northern California Gas, Water Heater, and Furnace Ban. All right. Today's show is specifically targeted to those people who live in Northern California in the following 9 counties: Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, Napa, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, and southwestern Solano and southern Sonoma County. This topic directly affects you. So we're going to start off with a little story. I know everybody loves stories. So go into your mind and imagine this happening to you as I tell this tale. It's February 1st, 2027, and you're getting ready for work, and you're still groggy from sleep, and you stumble into the bathroom, and you turn on the shower. and the water starts to run, and you walk into the kitchen to make a pot of coffee, and you go back because normally by this time, the water is hot. You go into the bathroom, you check the water, and it's still cold. And you're wondering, that seems weird. Why is the water still cold? So you go back and you do a few other things, maybe brush your teeth, and go back and check, and the water's still ice cold. And you go, wow, there's a problem, because you know that it doesn't take this long for the water to get hot. So you turn off the water and you go into the garage or wherever your water heater is located, and you see a puddle of water on the floor, and it hits you real fast and real hard. My water heater is out. And you know that unexpected bill just came knocking on your front door, and this is going to cost some money. So you go and let the rest of the family know, or whoever else uses the water heater, the hot water in your home, that there's no hot water, and now you're going to be late for work, and now you got to call in because you have to take care of this, because you cannot go multiple days without hot water. We need it for washing clothes, for washing dishes in the dishwasher, doing dishes, and cleaning your body. And you're not the only one in the house who needs to use the shower. So you call into work, you say, hey, I'm going to be late, or I got to miss a couple hours. And you get on the phone, and you call a plumber, and you say, hey, plumber, my water heater is out, and I need to have you come out, take a look, and replace it. Hopefully you can get that done today. And the plumber asks you a weird question. The plumber goes, well, sir, do you have a gas water heater or an electric water heater? And you're wondering to yourself, why is the plumber asking me if I have a gas water heater or an electric water heater? Everybody's got a gas water heater. Come on, that's what we have. That's what we already know, all of our houses. So you go, well, I've got a gas water heater, of course. And then the plumber says, I will be out and take a look at your project, but I will not be able to give you hot water for maybe a week or 2 weeks, because there's been a rule change in Northern California, in your county, that says when your gas water heater goes out, I need to replace it with electric. And so now I need to go out and make an evaluation as to whether or not your electrical system can handle the new electric water heater, or if I need to upgrade the panel, and I need to pull permits, and all that takes time. So you might as well dig in, because it's going to be a little while before you get hot water in your home. And what do? You drop the phone. You go, what are you talking about? Just go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get me, and I'll buy a water heater, bring it over here, and you can install it. You go, no, you can't do that anymore. It's illegal. And then he goes on to say that this could potentially cost you anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000 at a minimum. At a minimum. God forbid that there needs to be some rewiring done, or maybe your electrical panel can't handle the additional electricity, or it's going to take a while to pull a permit. All of those things, right? And those costs could go up depending on how old your house is, what type of electrical panel you have, and the type of wiring you have in your home. This is the nightmare that goes with the rule change that the Bay Area Air Quality Management District gave us when they changed the rule that says that you cannot replace your water heater with a water heater that produces any NOx. All right, NOx is that thing that they measure when you go get a smog check on a car. If your check engine light is on, it tells the computers that the NOx is off. You're producing too much NOx into the atmosphere, and you have to get that fixed before your car will pass the smog check. That's part of smog. It's emissions. It's a measurement, and it's called NOx. And so now we are going to go into what is going to happen to millions of homeowners starting January 1st, 2027, when this ban goes into effect that says you cannot replace your water heater unless it's a 0 NOx producing water heater in your home. Okay, and I'm going to go through it all, but welcome to the nightmare. All right, I'm going to do something I haven't done, which is share my screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about and where this is all coming from. What I'm about to show you is an article written by the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors that goes into detail of what's going on with this Bay Area Air Quality Management District rules that have been changed and how it's going to affect you personally and financially, because they have decided that the emissions out of your water heater is more important than you having a choice to decide how you want to run your house. So we're going to share the screen right now, and you should see this nice little picture come up. It says, on March 15th, 2023, the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, BACMed, what a horrible name, adopted amendments to their rules that carry the weight of LAW, law. Regulation 9, Rules 4 and 6, banning the sale or installation of gas water heaters as of January 1st, 2027, and gas furnaces as of January 1st, 2029. All right, we're going to deal with the first problem, okay? And that is the banning of your gas furnaces. This is the same group, okay? This is the same group who brought you the no burn days in Northern California, where they issue citations if you burn wood in your fireplace in the wintertime to heat your house because it's producing too much smoke and emissions, and your neighbor calls and tells on you, and you get fines because you decided to have a fire in your own fireplace in your own house. The same people who have forced new homes to be built without fireplaces, or new homes to convert to gas, and now they just don't have fireplaces at all because now they're saying that burning gas is bad for you, okay? These are the same people that have brought this to you, all right? This is an unelected board of elected officials that are robbing you of your freedom of choice and increasing the cost of home ownership for the sake of California's misguided attempt to bring California to a zero emission standard, all right? This crazy goal by California to bring the entire state to zero emissions has forced you to purchase expensive electronic vehicles. It has driven up the cost of fuel for internal combustion engine vehicles, the most popular vehicle on the planet, fueling renewable energy changes that are driving up the cost of energy in the state and not being able to meet the needs of citizens of California during peak demand, aka rolling brownouts. Okay, so because they're more concerned with the planet than they are the people, it's causing all sorts of repercussions into your life that is driving up the cost of living in California. Gas prices are going through the roof. Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E in Northern California and Southern California Edison is driving up the cost of electricity and gas in California because gas is bad, but we don't have enough of it. And so what they do is, since we can't produce it, they pipe it in from other states and we pay retail, and then they mark it up on us, and then we pay even more because we won't tap into our own gas supply in the state of California or produce electricity in the state of California. And because we can't produce enough electricity with renewable energy, we have to buy it from other states, which drives up the cost. All right, this is this insane desire to go to zero emissions in the state of California, all right? And so this is now going to specifically affect you in your home, millions and millions of houses in the following counties: Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, Napa, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, southwestern Solano County, and southern Sonoma County. All of you will now be forced, when your water heater goes out, to replace it with not the water heater of your choice, but the water heater of their choice, making it more expensive, and you having to convert maybe your internals in your own house, infrastructure, electrical panels, pulling permits, and the delay that's going to cause you and your family, and the headache it's going to cause you and your family by not having the most basic thing in a first world nation is hot internal running water. It goes out. No one knows when their water heater is going to go out. It just happens. It's not like there's this timer on the side that says, oh, you're going to be gone in the next 30 days. You better plan ahead and go buy a water heater ahead of time. You don't know when these things are going to happen. It always shows up unexpectedly, going, hello, unexpected bill, here to see you today. And how many people have $10,000, $15,000 in cash laying around to upgrade their water heater at a moment's notice? What about elderly people on fixed incomes, single mothers, the low income individuals, the poor, right? Or just middle class people who are working 2 or 3 jobs to keep up with the cost of living in California and are just barely making it and are one paycheck away from losing their house. And all of a sudden, that one paycheck is being spent on something as common as replacing a water heater. This is what we're talking about, and this is why I'm so worked up about this ban that they have just instituted on millions of homeowners in Northern California. So let's go through the reasons and answers given to we the people on the Bay Area Air Quality Management's districts frequently asked questions to see if they stand up to reasonableness. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. We're just going to go to the first page of what they say about why they did what they did. Here we go. All right, so first at the very, very tippy top, it says, why did the Air District adopt these amendments? Well, these amendments, in 2019, emissions from residential gas combustions accounted for roughly the same amount of NOx emissions as passenger vehicles. So what they're basically saying is they have adopted these amendments so that they can reduce NOx. It goes back to their plan for zero emissions. Now, this plan for zero emissions hits you right in the back pocket. All right, here it is. Your money disappearing out the window because a minority, 1% has decided for the whole entire Bay Area that you now have to meet these standards. All right? Okay. Now we go to the next thing that they're talking about. Sharing my screen again. All right. Why? Okay. Do the health benefits the health benefits come from improving indoor air quality? All right, so what they're saying is the amendments only affect water heaters and furnaces whose emissions are vented to the outside. Now, how many of you homeowners out there have your water heater or furnace vented into your house? I don't know anybody, right? So, but there's an exception for people that have theirs vented into their homes. So I guess if you can spend the money to get your water heater vented internally, then you're exempt from this. But I don't know how many people can even do this, and what the standards are, or what the rules are for a house to vent your water heater internally. All right, now we're going to go on to the next part of their scheme. Right now, as of January 1st, 2024, ultra low NOx standard has already been implemented, which you may have not known if you have not replaced a water heater. If you replace a water heater right now, the cost to you to replace a water heater in these 9 counties is higher than outside of these 9 counties. So I'm in Santa Clara County, but the next county over, San Benito County, is not part of this. If you buy a water heater in San Benito County, it's less expensive than buying a water heater in Santa Clara County, because they've required manufacturers to build ultra low emission water heaters to replace your current water heater as of January 1st, 2024, which has driven up the cost of water heaters already. And you wait and see how much it costs to replace a water heater that's electric compared to a gas one. It's going to flip your lid, folks. That's all I got to say. It's going to flip your lid. All right, back to me. All right, so then, and that all goes into effect as of January 1st, 2027. And where are we at right now? We are in July of 2025, which means we've got this half of this year and all next year to try to fight this insanity and push back on these people. All right. Let's go on to the next frequently asked question. I'm going back to this document. Is this a natural gas ban? Well, no. These rules only cover furnaces and water heaters and no other natural gas appliances. Under these rules, water heaters and gas furnaces would have to meet zero emission standards for oxides of nitrogen, or NOx. The only commercially available appliances that currently meet these standards are electric. But if a natural gas appliance demonstrates that it meets the standards, it would be allowed under the proposed amendments. Well, guess what? How many manufacturers out there are going to produce gas water heaters with zero NOx emissions just for the state of California for these 9 counties? Anybody have an answer? Huh? Anybody out there? Zero. What business, what kind of business model is that? You're a massive manufacturer producing water heaters for the entire nation, and you're going to split off a manufacturing line just for Northern California or California. No, what they're going to do is they're going to make these heat pump water heaters that are electric, which they already do, and they're going to sell them all over the place, including California. But they're not going to develop a zero emissions gas water heater. So by de facto banning zero NOx, they have said you only have access to electric. Now, do these amendments impact gas stoves? No, these appliance rules do not include any requirements for gas stoves. But let me tell you something, folks. When people come for your gas water heaters and your gas furnaces, and this stands, and we do not fight back, and we do not push back on them taking away our freedoms and our choices, I guarantee you that gas stoves are next. They're next, right? They are going to come for the gas appliance, all of our gas appliances. And you'll see a hint of that later on. I'm just telling you. All right, for all of those who are on propane, for some reason, propane is exempt. So if you're living in the hills and the mountains and you're not connected to gas and you're living off of propane, your propane water heaters are safe. And your natural gas fired equipment for propane is safe for now. For now. But that doesn't mean that that eventually that they won't go after the propane too. Now they're saying, what are the advantages of electric appliances? Well, there's zero emissions. Well, who decided that that was an advantage? Was it we the people, or was it 1%? Was it all of us who voted and put a referendum together or pushed our legislators to pass a law? This isn't even a law. This is a rule made by an unelected board of elected officials that have the weight of law. None of this was voted for by us, we the people. This is being imposed upon us by, again, a small group of individuals who are supposed to be protecting our freedom in the United States of America, and not, what do they say, no kings? Kings do this. Kings go, I decree you will never be allowed to use electric appliances in your home again, by decree. That's not a constitutional republic. We are a nation and a state made up of laws, and the laws are put together by elected representatives of we the people, and then we have the opportunity to speak to these individuals to tell them no or yes on whether or not we want these laws to be put in place or enacted. And this did not happen this way. It was by a small group who just declared it to be so. Talk about no kings on this. All right, so we get back to this frequently asked question. All right, I'm going to go back to this document. It says at the top, will property owners be required to replace their gas appliances immediately when the zero NOx standard takes effect? Well, the answer is no. No, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, homeowner. No, Miss Widow or Mr. Widower who's lost their wife and are living on a fixed income and don't have a lot of money in the bank. No, it's not immediate. But as soon as that appliance breaks, the trap closes in and you have to do it. All right, now, will this rule affect renters? No, the renters don't have to replace it. You know who has to replace it? Landlords. So all of you people out there who have spent hard-earned money saving and sacrificing to make investments in a very expensive state to buy real estate, and maybe over time you have done all the right things and you haven't gone on vacation and you haven't upgraded your house, but you've saved and you were able to buy an investment property, maybe a house or maybe a duplex, or maybe you've been able to leverage that into like a 4-unit apartment building. Guess who is going to bear the brunt of replacing these water heaters? You are, the investor. The one who provides housing to people as a service to the community, where you sacrificed, right, in order to do this. That cost goes to you. And now, then they're going to say, oh, no, but you're not allowed to pass that cost on to the renter. You just got to swallow it. You got to eat it, right? So again, the environment's more important than the people. The environment's more important than the people. The environment is a cruel dictator over the people. All right, and then it goes on to say, are we going to have sufficient generation and grid capacity to meet the huge demand if everyone's homes are mostly, if not entirely electric? There's your clue. Remember they said, no, we are not including stoves. But here's where they're headed. Are we going to have sufficient generation and grid capacity to meet the huge demand if everyone's homes are mostly, if not entirely what? Entirely what? Electric. They're tipping their hand. That's what they really want. Now, they're saying that they're delaying this until 2027 because they know there are issues with the grid. Well, guess what? I don't think the grid's going to be able to keep up. And maybe that's why they're rolling this out region by region, is so that they won't overpower the grid all at once and it becomes obvious that we can't handle all of this electricity being run through the grid when we can't even handle air conditioners being turned on in the summertime because we have what? rolling brownouts. If you live in Northern California, you know what those are. That's when it gets hot, people turn on their AC, and the green renewable energy can't keep up with the power demand. And what do? Boom, they shut off your power. And now they're going to add more appliances pulling power to heat your water and then heat your house. And that's not just for your heater. Remember, your heater and your HVAC are one system. So this is going to be AC as well. They're talking about heaters, but the AC is not detached from the heater. It's all one system, right? And that's going to go electric. Telling you, right? And they're already talking about, given power outages are zero NOx appliances, gonna make the grid less reliable. And then will gas water heaters and space heaters be able to work natural gas if the power goes out? Well, they're right. When the power does go out, you don't necessarily, you do still need some electricity for the newer gas water heaters because they are plugged in. But I think that's more to regulate the temperature. But the flame is gas, right? The flame still burns, right? We'll have to do more research, but I'm not buying their answer, all right? Okay, and then it says, can my electrical panel handle that much more electricity? Now, they're saying there are low voltage water heaters, right? But what if your panel can't handle another appliance plugged in? You know the old days when you plugged in your hair dryer and it popped a breaker and you had to reset it? There are a lot of homes that were built in the 50s. And will your house be able to handle a water heater who's pulling from your home's electricity unannounced, and all of a sudden, your microwave goes out, or your refrigerator goes out because it's pulling power and your electrical panel can't handle it? What's the cost of upgrading a panel on a home? $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, right? Again, the environment is more important than the people. The environment is more important than the people. What about the single mothers? What about the elderly? What about those on fixed income? What about the poor who barely are making it? Maybe they inherited a house from their parents. They never could buy a house, but now they're in one and they're barely keeping the lights on. And now they got to upgrade their electrical panel because a group of 24 individuals decided that you can't have a gas water heater anymore because the environment is more important than the people. Pause for effect. This is just not cool. It's not cool. Then, older homes may need infrastructure upgrades, right? They even know it. That's expensive, right? That's expensive. Who's going to be able to pay for that? And even if you are making a decent living, who wants to pay for that? This is a forced bill on you that you did not ask for. How many people, raise your hand out there, asked for this bill? How many of you asked to have to upgrade your electrical system or your electrical panel, or want to convert from gas water heaters to electric water heaters? How many of you want to do that? Raise your hand and want that bill. I don't. How many of you live in houses that were built in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s? Even the 80s that may not be able to handle this? How many of you have parents that live on their own on fixed incomes and they're aging and you have to go over and help them out all the time, and you know that they don't have the money to do this, right? So let's take a look at what this cost looks like. I'm going to pull up on my screen the current cost of a gas water heater at Home Depot right now. And you guys can take a look at it too. All right. So for a 40-gallon, 38,000 BTU, ultra-low NOx, okay, so I'm in one of those counties, it's now $659 for a ream. For a 50-gallon, it's $759 for a ream. A 579 for 40 gallon, 36,000 BTU water heater. So it's all under $800 right now. It's still expensive. I remember when water heaters were $350, $400. And they may be even cheaper when you get outside of these counties that require low NOx. Okay, so that's what you're looking at for a gas water heater. Now let's check out water heaters where you have an electric pump. For a 40-gallon Smart Energy hybrid heat water pump, $1,719. For a Ream 40-gallon Smart high efficiency hybrid heat pump water heater, 40-gallon, $1,769. For a 50-gallon hybrid heat pump water heater, $1,819. And the prices rise from there. $1,869, $1,999, $2,099. And we compare that to your gas water heaters. Natural gas. Good old, clean burning, cheap, efficient natural gas. Unreal. Unreal. That's what they want. That's what they just put onto your back. Okay? Now, some of the costs that the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors have come up with in regards to services that may happen if you have to do infrastructure upgrades are as follows. You see, rewiring and new 220 amp outlets at the low end, $3,650, at the high end, $22,000. Construction access to electrical, abatement of asbestos and lead if you have it, replacement of housing during asbestos removal and construction, like if you have to move out of the house when they're cleaning that stuff out. Electric panel upgrade, 50, 100 to 200 amp, from $3,000 to $15,000. Undergrounding of lines, if they have to bury the lines, $3,500 to $15,000. Replacement of 2-inch pipe or 3-inch pipe to accommodate 200 amp service, $5,000 to $30,000. PG&E capping off gas lines, $9,500 to $25,000. Permits, $1,000 to $5,000. And then you have your appliances. We already went through those. They run around $2,000 to $3,000. You're looking at, maybe you're looking at thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in order to do this. All right. And then if you go all electric conversion for everything, it gets it's also very expensive. I'll leave this link to this article on the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors on my website, so you guys can access it as well. But this is not cheap. It's not inexpensive. So if you want to see the people who have made this decision on your behalf, here they are. The Bay Area Air Quality Management District has a 24-member board of directors composed of elected officials from Bay Area cities and counties. Included in the 9-county Bay Area are, as I've said multiple times, Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, Napa, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Solano, and Sonoma. All right, these are the people that made this decision for you. You've got Linda Hopkins, who's the vice chair. She's Sonoma County District 5 supervisor. You've got Margaret Abby Koga, supervisor, Santa Clara County District 5. Vice mayor, City of Pittsburgh. City council member, City of Petaluma. You've got all these different people. So what makes this really difficult to fight is all of these people are located in all these different 9 counties, sitting on different sitting in different elected places. Some of them are supervisors sitting on the county supervisors. Some of them are sitting in the mayor's office or the city council office. So they're either on city councils or board of supervisors, but they're spread out. And then you have to contact them individually. It's not like you can say, okay, I'm going to put some pressure on the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, or I'm going to put pressure on the city of Petaluma. Since it's so broadly spread out, it's difficult to contact all these people individually or go to the Bay Area Air Quality Management District Board of Directors meeting in order to fight this. But this is something I think that is worth pushing back on. Again, if they are successful in this implementation of water heaters and gas furnaces, based on what I've seen already and hints in their own literature, they're shooting for 100% electrification, which means you're going to lose your gas stoves. That's next. As soon as this is implemented, if we don't raise a roar like a mad, upset lion and come together as a group in Northern California, this is going to spread like a cancer. It's already being partially implemented in Los Angeles, and they're going to try to make this a statewide thing. If we do not push back, if we just roll over on this, then next it's going to come down from Sacramento. But this is over 1 million homeowners, and at the dollars that we're talking about, this is like $1 billion issue. This is $1 billion issue, and we need to get involved. Now, again, they talk about, and they're frequently asked questions, incentives, rebates to make it affordable. But not all of these rebates are what they say they are. If I share my screen again, I will show you that they do have rebates, right? But if you start clicking on what these rebates are, let me see. Here is a rebate. Some of them are tied to federal tax credits. And some of them are, here the first one is a federal tax credit. But those are going to expire at the end of this year based on some changes that have been made by the current administration. And then some of them are grants, and some of them are directly tied to Silicon Valley clean energy, which means you have to be getting your energy from the Silicon Valley clean energy, I believe. Don't take my word as gospel. But these rebates are not what they present themselves to be. I did click on their incentives to switch. And if you look at their incentives, here are some. This is for a single-family home. And each single-family home must install a heat pump heat heat pump water heating, electric or induction cooking, and an electric dryer. So there you go. There's their push for full electrification connected to one of the rebates as I read it. Now, I encourage everybody to do their own research to see whether or not these rebates are as clean as they appear to be on their surface, or if there are additional requirements, or if they are actually zero interest loans that are coming from cities or counties. And if they are zero interest, this one right here is a $5,000 in an interest-free financing through EcoHome payment plan through the city of San Jose. If there are rebates coming directly from cities, then that money is not generated by the city. It's tax dollars. So, right, even though there's a rebate, you're still paying for it out of your own tax dollars. And so even though it seems like you're getting money back, it's money that you've already paid to the city, and the city's giving it back to you. So are you really getting a rebate, or have you already paid for this anyway? And so it gets muddy. My hope is that this additional information will help you to push back. Again, I will leave a link for the electrification from the California Association of Realtors. It's public information. I'm not sharing anything that isn't already out there. And then you can read up on it yourself and do your own personal research. And then I'm going to download the, and let me show you a screenshot of what this looks like on the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors website. It says 9-county Bay Area ban on natural gas electrification mandate. And it is a mandate. And then I will also show you this frequently asked questions from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. I am going to download that and put it on the website as well. So it's time to push back for freedom. What I did was I printed out the definition of freedom, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, freedom, and this is by Webster, the quality or state of being free, such as the absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint in choice or action. What we are witnessing right now is a constraint in choice given to us by mandate by the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. Again, this is a constraint in choice or action, which means you are not allowed to replace your water heater in your house that you pay the mortgage on, that you pay the electric bill on, that you pay the property taxes on, based on a mandate pushed down by others who do not pay your bills, who are not going to pay for your new water heater or the expenses that come along with the upgrade or the change in the infrastructure in your home. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. I pray that we will all be courageous in speaking up against this constraint in choice or action, which is taking away your freedom as a free citizen in the United States of America and the state of California. Thank you for joining me on this special edition episode of the Real Estate Connection, brought to you by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. I'm going to endeavor to bring back this podcast on a more regular basis, but I just felt the need to share this information with you so you all would know that it's time to fight. Fight for your freedom. Fight for your freedom of choice. And if you don't want to miss an episode, or you want to listen to a past episode, you can find us on Apple Podcast, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and I don't think Spotify. But if you have any questions about where to find the podcast, send me an email, Stephen@goodpatriotrealty.com, Stephen@goodpatriotrealty.com. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And may you continue to have the pursuit of happiness in these United States of America. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.
This has been The Real Estate Connection with Realtor and Certified Probate and Real Estate Specialist Stephen Theard. Licensed Cal BRE number 0170019. For more information on this program, visit realestateconnectionradio.com. To contact Stephen directly, call 408-472-0817 or email info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And be sure to tune in next week at this time for The Real Estate Connection.